In the late 1760s, Alexander, the son of tenant farmers John and Anne Grieg, left Fraserburgh, Scotland, for Bergen, Norway. Over the years that followed, Alexander Grieg, now Grieg, returned many times to Scotland until the deaths of his parents. In their memory, he and his siblings erected a gravestone in Rathen Kirkyard, Aberdeenshire, not far from the family farm at Moston of Cairnbulg. Since that time, over 200 years ago, many others have come to visit what we now call the Edvard Grieg ancestral gravestone. But in recent years, with time and exposure to damp conditions, the stone's survival has been in question. This is the story of the stone and its conservation in the summer of 2018. John Grieg and his wife Anne Milne tenanted the farm of Moston of Cairnbulg, which lay by the ruins of Inveralchy Castle in Buchan, Aberdeenshire. Theirs was an ancient landscape of moss and peat, where Anne kept hens and John wrestled awa with the old twalhouse and pleugh still in use in the parish. John was an ardent farmer and well respected. Appointed arbiter in a roup or farm sale, here in the same legal document he's mentioned with one spelling and signs at the foot with another. The Scots he spoke, his native language, had no standard spelling, so it didn't matter. This was the land and life Alexander, his brother James, and two companions by the name of Wallace and Christie left behind for Norway, drawn like many Scots before them by the lure of Scandinavian trade and commerce. Bergen, when Alexander came to settle, was Norway's biggest town, a former Hanseatic port and part of Denmark-Norway. Many nationalities made their livelihoods in the town, including Scots. Starting as a skriverkar, or clerk, Alexander rose to prominence through hard work. He married, became a merchant exporting fish, and in time British consul. All the while, as Bergen church records show, keeping his Scottish connections, as here with the prominent Wallace family from Banff. Alexander's family too, through many generations, would keep their Scottish connections by their names and by their education and contact. In the course of a century, the Scottish Griegs, who became the Norwegian Griegs, made a remarkable contribution to the commercial and cultural life of Norway, not least through Alexander's great-grandson, composer Edvard Grieg. Like many Scots before him, Alexander joined the Lutheran congregation at Bergen's Nykirken, the new but old established kirk by the town's harbour. But he never forgot his Calvinist and Presbyterian roots, and returned twice a year by fishing smack via Fraserburgh to the old kirk at Rathen to celebrate communion and renew his faith. These homecomings for Alexander, or Sanders as he was aye kent, brought fond family reunions, until first his father John, and a decade later his mother Anne, passed away. It was then Alexander and his siblings completed the gravestone inscription we know today as that of composer Edvard Grieg's great-great-grandparents John and Anne. Here lies the remains of John Grieg, late tenant in Moston ap Kernbalg, who departed this life the 6th of January 1774, and in the 71st year of his age. Here also was laid the body of Anne Milne, spouse to the above-named John Grieg, who departed this life 17th November 1784, in the 81st year of her age. This stone is erected to his memory by his surviving children. Enduring for almost 2.5 centuries, the stone has become a symbol of Scottish-Norwegian friendship, sparking newspaper articles, attracting visitors from Norway, and even inspiring performances of Grieg's music at its foot. But all this was in danger of being lost, for stone, exposed to the elements, can be fragile. From this photograph, taken for Norwegian scholars near the end of the 20th century, an alarming deterioration at the beginning of the 21st could be seen in the stone's inscription. Urgent action was needed, and in 2018 the Grieg Society of Scotland, assisted by conservation experts Spectrum Heritage, stepped in to save the stone and capture its inscription with new technology for a new generation. Here's Edvard Grieg in his own music to tell the story.